So, what if I told you that almost all the advice you've ever gotten about school, study more, get good grades, get that diploma, is completely wrong? Well, today we're diving into some pretty provocative ideas from Professor Pierluigi Piazzi's book, Apprendendo Intelligencia. He argues that in the 21st century, survival is a whole new ballgame, and it demands a totally different approach.
All right, to kick things off, let's start with a little riddle the author was given when he was a kid. It sounds simple enough, but the solution? It holds a really critical lesson about the world we're all living in right now.
Okay, think about this for a sec. You've got one microbe in a bottle at midnight. That population doubles every single minute. 4 hours go by, it's 4 a.m., and the bottle is now exactly half full. So the question is, when will it be completely full? Now, if your brain immediately went, oh, 8 a.m., don't worry. You are not alone. That's the intuitive answer for almost everyone. I mean, it took 4 hours to get halfway, so it's got to take another 4 hours to fill the rest, right? But hang on, let's go back to that crucial clue. The population doubles every minute. So if that bottle is half full at 4 a.m., what's going to happen in the very next minute? Yep, the correct answer is 4:01 a.m., just 1 minute later. In that single minute, the half-full population doubles, and bam, the entire bottle is full. It's a pretty startling little example of how fast exponential growth can hit its final limit. So, okay, why does a little riddle about microbes even matter? Well, because the author uses it as this really powerful metaphor for our own planet. I want you to picture a little microbe politician giving a big, rousing speech at exactly 4 a.m., right when the bottle is half full. He's confidently telling everyone that they've only used up half their resources and there's a whole other half left for all the future generations. He sounds super optimistic, right? But he is dangerously, tragically wrong. And this is where the author really lands his point. The microbe's bottle is our planet. And humanity, with our explosive growth and consumption, we might have just hit our own 4 a.m. We could be standing in that final critical minute before the bottle gets completely full. And to put our growth into perspective, just think about this. The author points out that over the last couple of millennia, our population hasn't just grown, it has absolutely exploded by a factor of 70. So this massive growth has led to what we all see as a resource crisis. But Professor Piazzi argues that we're actually focusing on the wrong kind of scarcity. I mean, we hear it all the time, right? The most precious, the most scarce resource of the 21st century is clean drinking water. But the book completely reframes this. The amount of water on Earth hasn't actually changed. What has changed is the number of people who need it. So the problem isn't really a lack of resources, it's an excess of population. And all of this leads to the book's central, and I mean central claim. The truly scarce commodity in our crowded, complicated world, it isn't water or oil or land, it's intelligence. And here is where the argument gets really controversial. Piazzi claims that our modern world, with its technology, its media, even our school system, isn't making us smarter. He actually argues it's contributing to a widespread and frankly frightening decline in our intellectual capabilities. So how does this crisis of intelligence affect you and me personally? Well, it's completely changed the rules for success, for even just surviving in the modern world. The author says that one of the most common messages he gets from his readers is this phrase just filled with regret. What a pity I didn't read this before. Young people are realizing, often when it's too late, that they've spent years playing a game where the rules completely changed without them knowing. Just look at this contrast. It used to be simple. A diploma was your ticket to a good job. Human labor was essential. But now, automation is taking over all kinds of routine tasks, from bank tellers to toll booth operators. A diploma all by itself doesn't guarantee a thing anymore. So in this new world, what does the job market actually want? It's not just another degree or a certification. It's looking for the things that machines can easily replicate: genuine intelligence, a broad cultural understanding, and real creativity. So, if the old path of just collecting diplomas is basically a dead end, what's the solution? Well, the author proposes this radical shift in how we approach learning altogether. The author argues we've been given the wrong advice for years. We're told to study more, just to chase after good grades. But the real goal, the right goal, should be to study better with the aim of actually becoming more intelligent. And this, right here, is the key takeaway. When you really focus on understanding the material, on expanding your mind, guess what? Good grades and diplomas, they follow naturally. They become a consequence of your learning, not the stressful thing you're chasing. And this is the ultimate payoff. Instead of just firing off hundreds of resumes and hoping someone calls back, you can become so valuable, so intelligent, so creative, and so cultured that the market actively starts looking for you. You become the scarce resource. So how do you make that jump? Well, the book draws this really critical line between being an alumno, that's a pupil who just shows up to class, and in a student, a true student who actively studies to learn. And the author's most powerful advice is this: you have to treat class as the place to understand things and home as the place to study them. You don't really learn by just sitting and listening to a lecture. You learn by going home and wrestling with the material yourself afterwards. The classroom is for asking questions, but becoming a student, well, that happens when you turn knowledge into actual intelligence. And that, right there, might be the most valuable survival skill of all.